In this lecture, I will summarize a few things that you have already learnt about lambda function and a few new things which are very important. A piece of code that is executed when an event triggers it is nothing but a lambda function. The infrastructure that is required will be created by AWS, and we do not have to worry about the operating system patches, the latest language runtime, etc. All that is managed by AWS. But we can still specify how much memory our lambda function requires, and if we specify a higher number, the CPU power that is required will also go up, and the cost will eventually go up. So we need to take care, but you need to know that we can configure the space or the memory that is required for a lambda function. And to invoke a lambda function, it is triggered by an event happening in another component like S3, DynamoDB, API gateway, etc. And lambda functions scale automatically thanks to lambda service. Let's say we are working on a check processing application or a check processing lambda that takes all the checks for a particular bank, and it processes those checks end of the day as a batch job. As millions of checks come in, the lambda service will create several instances of the same lambda function, automatically improving the performance of our application. This power also brings in reliability. We can configure our lambdas and lambda service in such a way that we can have our own virtual private network with all the subnets and multiple availability zones. And the lambda service can create lambda instances of the same function across these availability zones. If one zone is down, it will use another availability zone, becoming fault tolerant. And the lambda service will tear down the entire infrastructure once the lambda function is done with its work. So if we have some data in memory, or we have written data to the temp directory on the lambda machine, it is gone once the lambda is done with its work. It is up to us to save that state information to an external machine or to databases like DynamoDB. And the maximum time limit that is available for every lambda function to finish its job as of December 2020, it is 15 minutes, 15 minutes. After that, if it doesn't finish within 15 minutes, the lambda service will terminate that lambda function. Any lambda function shouldn't take so long, so it is always a good practice to complete the work as soon as possible so that we will not be charged too much. In the future, that time might change, so you can always refer to the AWS documentation for that hard limit. Next, lambda functions do have some limits when it comes to the number of executions. At any given point in time, there can only be 1000 executions of a particular lambda function. Lambda functions can take environment variables, as we will learn in lectures later on. And the space taken by those environment variables altogether can be only 4 kilobytes. And when the lambda functions receive parameters, if it is a synchronous request, 64 MB is the limit on those parameters and 256 KB on asynchronous requests. Again, these numbers might change, and you can always refer to the AWS documentation for the latest limits. The last and very important thing is pricing. How are we charged when it comes to lambda functions? Two factors determine how we are charged. We are charged on usage basis. That is the whole concept of serverless programming and lambdas. Typically, if we are using application servers, we are charged for however long we are using a EC2 instance or any other environment within AWS, but that is not the case in lambdas. We'll be charged for the time the lambda took to run, just the time the function took to finish its job, not the time for the entire environment to be created. That's the first factor, to the closest millisecond. That time will always be rounded off to the closest millisecond. Second factor is the amount of memory that we have allocated to that particular lambda function. So these two will be combined and will be charged based on that. AWS calls it GB seconds. The beauty of it is, in free tier, per month, per account, we have a million invocations that come for free. We can hit the lambda function a million times for free every month. And if we talk in GB seconds, we have 400,000 GB seconds. That is combination of the amount of time and memory that comes for free is 400,000. So this can get complex as we build huge applications. That is why you can always refer to the AWS Lambda pricing. If you just type in AWS Lambda pricing, go to the very first link which says AWS Lambda pricing. Let me zoom it a little. This guy has detailed information on how the pricing is. As you can see here, 1 million free requests per month and 400,000 GB seconds of compute time per month. And also it has a calculator and a lot of information that is very helpful, and also several examples depending on the combinations of what you are using. And always remember, when we use other components like S3, DynamoDB, they have their own pricing model. For S3, it depends on the amount of storage you are using on S3. You will be charged for that as well.